Hello, fellow artists. Welcome to today's drawing session. Today's drawing session will be all about getting into your creative flow, expressing yourself on the paper, and feeling free. As usual, I have provided a reference that I have sourced using AI, and you are very welcome to use it as you wish. If you end up with a great piece of artwork, you are free to sell it and to make prints of it and do with it what you want. Although it's great if you end up with a fantastic drawing, and I hope you will. I really want to encourage you to get out of the headspace of thinking about the end result. Because if you are too concerned about ending up with something good, that will hinder the free flow and the free expression. You've got to be willing to make mistakes. You have to be willing to put your marks down. So my goal with these drawing sessions, my hope is that it'll be an unblocking exercise. It will unlock joy and freedom and just the pleasure of drawing. So this weekend I had to unblock a drain, and I couldn't help but think what a great picture this is for what it's like sometimes to unblock your creativity. It was kind of a horrible experience. It was really smelly, and I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to get this thing unlodged. But thankfully it shifted and I got that flow happening again. And so I just want to encourage you that if what comes out at first is not that great, just keep going, because it's part of getting unblocked. All the muck and all of the stuff that has built up has to come free first. So I thought I might illustrate this point a little bit with a story from my own life. When I was really young, first experience coming out of A-levels, I signed up for a number of classes in different creative subjects. It was an amazing opportunity. I signed up for painting, photography, life drawing. But there was this one other course I signed up for as well called the Project Lab. And at the Project Lab, you would explore a project of your own choosing. You had to write out your own brief and plan and prepare and execute the whole project on your own. Of course, there were tutors to help and to talk to, but mostly it was all you. So I thought I could handle this type of project, and I signed up and I was excited. But that excitement quickly turned into something else. I think this was one of the first times where I really came face to face with all of the questions. What does it mean to be an artist? What beliefs do I have about being an artist? And it became quite overwhelming dealing with that level of infinity. I think some of the things that came up was the fact that I had a very foundational belief that for you to be an artist, you have to be a genius. You have to have these amazing, meaningful ideas, and you just have to know how to do it all as well. I think it's safe to say now that I'm not a genius, and I was quite aware of that at that time as well. But I was very determined, and I really wanted to be an artist. So I tried my best. The idea I came up with was to create an infinity box. I wanted to capture infinity in a box, as you do when you are 19 and you're trying to be an artist. So I would put a mirror inside the box on one side, and on the other side I would put the kind of mirror film on glass so that you could look into the box but it would reflect inside, which you would achieve by putting the box in a dark room and putting a bright light within the box. The reason I wanted to create this was so that you could look straight into infinity and see that reflection of the mirror reflecting itself infinitely. I quickly learned trying to put this box together that this type of art was not really my kind of thing at all. As I proceeded in building the box and getting the materials I needed, I got more and more disillusioned, and I was enjoying the whole process less and less. So I think I really came up against a bit of a blockage. And I think it was mainly caused by this faulty idea that you have to be a genius to be an artist, and your ideas have to be magnificent and impressive. At the same time, I also was doing classes in life drawing at that same school. And these classes were the exact opposite experience. It was a situation where you came in and you were doing something just to practice. You were not in there. I was not in there to be clever or to be a genius. I was just there to use my hands and put some movement into the paper. And we had a great instructor as well, and she would make us do long sessions that could be up to 20 minutes long. But as she would proceed with the class, she would make us go faster and faster. So she would do 10-minute sessions, 5-minute drawings, 3-minute drawings, and then we'd go all the way down to 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and 10 seconds. And it was in these really fast drawings where I experienced that you wouldn't even look at your paper, you'd just put that movement and those gestures down. And often I would look at the paper afterwards and be quite fascinated with the result. It was almost as if you'd captured some of the energy in the figure. The drawings were becoming abstract, filled with expression. And this is where some of these scribbles come from that I tend to put in when I start a drawing these days. I try to capture some of the energy that I see in the reference that I look at in a face or in the figure. So I think of them as energy lines. So these two stories are about being blocked and being unblocked. And I wanted to tell the story about the infinity box because I think we all have something like that. Perhaps it's a belief that you have to be talented to be an artist, and that talent is something that you're born with. Well, I don't believe that. I clearly remember starting my drawing journey and having that realization that this is not something you're born with. This is actually a skill that you can learn. And yes, it might be easier for some people to learn and harder for others. But the point is that you can learn it. And all you really need is to be interested. Because if you're interested enough, you'll keep at it, and that's where the skill and the mastery will come from. Well, I believe that now. But when I was young, it was hard, as I was definitely suffering with many forms of limiting beliefs. And I just think it's really important to be aware of, because these things can be very insidious and can really hide away in pockets of your subconscious and cause a lot of blockages. Another thing I noticed from that time was, even though I experienced such a great joy and freedom and encounters with creativity through those life drawing classes, my immature mind was dismissing the importance of that. I always had a sense of the ease and the joy must mean that this is not real work, this is obviously just play. But I didn't realize that that's actually where the real work is happening. So here at the end, I just want to mention one more thing that I come up against and still come up against when it comes to experiencing hindrances and blockages. And that comes down to my choice of paper. So as you can imagine, if you love drawing, if you love mark making, you will also be quite fond of paper. So if you're anything like me, you will choose your papers with great intensity, care and love. and you will go through hundreds of different types and find the one that speaks to your soul and that you fall in love with. But the trouble is, when you standing in front of something that is so precious to you, it's really hard to present that to your expressive mark making drawing style, which is all about allowing for mistakes, allowing for expression, and not thinking about the end result. So I really had to think carefully about what's more important, the freedom of my expressive marks or the quality of the paper. So one way I found to deal with this issue is to start out with warm-up sessions where I just grab a whole stack of printer paper and I just start practicing my mark making, practicing putting down a sketch, just using 1 minute and drawing real quickly and starting to get that movement flowing freely. And I kind of just empty all the bad drawings out of me. And once I feel that I've accessed that part of my brain where that flow happens, I move into the nicer paper, which is an acid-free paper, a watercolor paper I'm using, which is very inexpensive. So I'm still not going for the paper yet that really lights up that slight intimidation in me. This may not be an issue for you, and I hope not, but I do want to encourage you and myself to feel free, even if you're facing a really wonderful paper, that it's still okay to make mistakes, and it's still okay to make a drawing that you maybe don't want to publish or sell, because this is all about accessing the joy and the freedom. I would love to hear if this is some of the similar struggles that you face in your journey with your creativity, or if it's something completely different. I'd love to know. So if you have any comments, please leave them down below. I would love to hear from you. And do join me again for more drawing exercises. I've got lots of ideas and new drawing exercises coming up. So please subscribe if you want to stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching again. Have a great day. Bye.